Hello, my name is Harper. I am the maker and creator behind Harper Crochets. This is my channel, and today's video you are going to be coming along with me while I show you everything I made for my first ever convention. If you are new here, come on in, grab something to work on while you're here, get a art project, a crochet project, something to do, grab yourself a drink, and we'll get into the video in a second. If you are not new here, thank you so much for coming back. It is amazing to see you again, and I hope you really enjoy another video. I have a lot to show you today. If you are not new here, some of this you may well have seen in a previous video where I was showing you everything I made in a week, or maybe it was like a market prep vlog, I can't remember. I'm going to show you everything that I have made that is specific items that are unique for my first ever convention that I'm going to be vending at. When I say unique, I mean like I may have made multiples, but they're not items that I would usually make. So items that I would usually make, like axolotls, cats, that sort of thing. This is like fantasy, cryptids, D&D style items that I am doing specifically for this convention, which is EM-con Nottingham, and I am theming my table around D&D and fantasy. So that's a little bit of an explanation. Let's get straight into this. Okay, where to start? Let's start with an item that I do make regularly, but that I have made an extra load of for this event, and that is dragons. This is the no-sew dragon pattern by Crochet by Jenna, and I do modify it in a couple of ways. First of all, I do sew the wings on. I find that they're more secure that way, and I can position them a bit better, so it's not no-sew the way I do it. I do still crochet the legs and work from nose to tail, but for me, I sew the wings on and I don't do the bobbles down the back. Instead, I opt for surface crocheting on some fur yarn to get this sort of result. I made 7 of these dragons, which I batch made actually, which was one of the first times that I've properly batch made items. So I spent basically an entire day making all 7 times 4, 28 legs. I think that's correct maths. So I spent a day making all of the 28 little legs that get crocheted in. I spent a day and a half making all of the bodies and crocheting the legs in, and then I spent another half day crocheting all of the wings, sewing them on and doing the fur. So we've got 1, 2, this one's sort of like Halloween-y, and they are slightly different sizes. These two are actually very different sizes. This one's probably the biggest and this one's probably the smallest. But just because I use different brands of yarn that work up slightly differently. So this one I used same hook, same pattern, just a thicker and slightly stiffer yarn, so my tension loosens itself a little bit. This one was a much smaller yarn and a much softer yarn to work with, so my tension was quite tight. So this one came out much smaller. And then I made 2 dragons in what are probably the best selling colours of dragon. We've got a green dragon, again with the fur. I think this is really cute. And then I did a red dragon, but I already have a red dragon in stock because I do make these pretty regularly. So I did something a little different for this one. I gave it some spiky spikes. I apologise, I just had a small coughing fit. I am still recovering from being ill. You may be able to hear it in my voice. That is why there was no video last week, is because I was on death's doorstep and I am still just like, I'm mostly better, but I was a little bit bunged up and my throat's still a bit sore, so I just had a bit of a coughing fit. But yeah, so I gave this one spikes and red accent wings, and this is like, I don't know, I guess this is kind of like a Welsh dragon. I think it's really cool. And then I recently started reading the series Fourth Wing. Alright, another coughing fit. So yeah, when I say I started reading Fourth Wing, I mean I started listening to Fourth Wing, because I have processing issues with reading and writing. So I very much struggle to write for long periods of time, and I also struggle to read more than like a few paragraphs without getting confused and my brain hurting. So I've been trying audiobooks recently, and actually they've been really working for me and I'm really happy about it. And the thing that got me determined to try audiobooks was the fact that everyone was talking about Fourth Wing and I wanted to read it too. I used to be a huge bookworm, and then I had a lot of mental health and physical health issues, and it just, I don't know what happened, but it set me back a long way, and all of these processing issues came up, and I haven't been able to read a full book since, and I've really struggled with that because reading was my comfort. The dragon's in fourth wing, and he's all black. He's actually quite small, so not very much like Terran, but close enough. And then I did a Segale, again with the golden eyes, and she is a decent chunk bigger than Terran, which I know is not too accurate to the book, but I mostly just wanted to do like dragons in the colours rather than actually like trying to imitate the book. But I did those, and then I also did Andana with the spikes because I didn't have any fur that matched this mustardy gold yarn, and I forgot to give her the gold eyes actually, so she's just got all black eyes. But yeah, so I made a whole little family of fourth wing dragons. So yeah, I made all of those dragons and I really like them all. I'm really happy. That dragon pattern is one of my best selling medium to large items at regular markets, so I thought at a much bigger event like a convention, and also where I'm focusing on fantasy, I should have as many dragons as I can. So I already had 3 in stock, so plus those 7 means I will have 10 dragons with me at EM-con. What to show you next? Okay, next I have these eggs, which as you can see are very colourful, and I have 2 in this colour, 2 in this colour, and 1 which I have already made a dragon for in like previous weeks. So I had 1 that was in this colour that I'd already made a dragon for, 1 in a scrappy colourway because these are 3D printed. So the 5th egg that I got used scraps of filament for the 3D printing rather than like a solid colour like these are. But then I still had 2 of the rainbow left and 1 of the blue left that I hadn't made dragons for. And I initially bought these 3D printed eggs from a friend. I will have them linked below, so you can get some of their 3D printed stuff if you would like. I initially got these eggs so that I could make the Diddy Decks pattern by Jodie's Yarn on Etsy and put little dragons in eggs. So for this egg, I made this little fella. So it's a solid sort of rich dark blue with these beautiful really dark purple wings and dark purple spikes all the way down the back, and he just sits in his egg real nice, and the little tail sticks up and the little toes. He's got little toe beans, which I think is utterly adorable. And he just sits in his egg and fits absolutely perfectly inside of these little eggs. So that is one of the dragons and eggs that I made. Then on to the rainbow dragons and eggs. I made for a rainbow, that shows it off really nicely, a rainbow egg, a green dragon with little colourful flecks in, with blue eyes and this aquary wings and spikes, and I gave it some tail decoration. So we've got this guy, and again sits perfectly into the egg, and then you just pop the lid on. So we've got that, and then this one might be my favourite. I did a white dragon with rainbow details. So she's got, I don't know why this one for some reason is a girl in my head, but pink eyes, rainbow nostrils, rainbow horns, this variegated rainbow yarn wings, and spikes. And I think this one might be my favourite. I think it's adorable. And again, pop in the egg, and pop on the lid, and we're done. I love those. Those are some of my favourite things that I have made for this convention. What should I show you next? Okay, next I think I'm going to show you all of the baby cryptids that I have made. And warning, I have made, I think, 13. So I've made quite a few. There are 3 types of cryptids. You would have seen these in a previous video. In my last market prep video, I finished all of these. So I made jackalopes with fluff all over their antlers. So it's this little jackalope. And I made 3 of these. I did another one in basically the same colourway, just with a different colour for the nose. And a darker brown one with antlers that are honestly far too big, but we'll pretend that that's not the case. So we've got 3 jackalopes. Then we've got, so this one's the first one that I made, so don't judge it too harshly. I'm not in love with this one. Little Mothman. So this one has smaller eyes and the wings and the fur, and then I modified it slightly to give it bigger eyes, a little bit more fur and the same wings. And I definitely prefer this Mothman over this Mothman. I think this one just looks a bit less cute, I don't know, but I do prefer this one. That's 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, and this one has a different fur yarn style, and I think I prefer this style. This one's a bit more chaotically fluffy, but we shall see if it sells. And then finally for the cryptids, I made Cthulhu's / Mind Flayers, whichever you want to call them. I think they could double as both, honestly. Start with this Cthulhu in this like yellowy olive green. I don't really know how to describe it, but he's got green eyes, face tentacles and wings. We've got this, sorry I'm pulling fluffies off it, this deep green, emerald, sea-ish green. There's a bit of fluff that's annoying me. It doesn't want to come out. There we go. This deep green, which I gave blue eyes, Cthulhu. Then we've got a nice sort of swampy green with light green eyes. We've got this variegated green with green eyes to match, and I think this one might be my favourite of the ones that I made. I think it's a really good Cthulhu colour. And then finally I made one in purple because Cthulhu, from what I know, appears mostly in black and white images, and fans have assumed purple or green. I think Mind Flayers are more purple and have red eyes, so I think this one's more of a Mind Flayer than a Cthulhu, but there isn't much difference. One is clearly based on the other, in my opinion. Don't come for me. Speaking of Mind Flayers, I'm now going to show you 2 large Mind Flayers that I made that are definitely Mind Flayers rather than Cthulhu's. So this is the first Mind Flayer that I have made. He's got colour shifting, bluey green eyes, raised eyebrows, tentacles on the fingies, and a robe. The robe is removable to reveal a little grey body underneath. In fact, I will just undo the robe to show you. Got a little grey body underneath. And now bear with me while I put his robe back on him. This is not actually attached, it's just the robe is made separately, and then you make a tie, so it's kind of like a dressing gown sort of thing, or a robe. Yeah, I don't think there's dressing gowns in America, is there? Anyway, so we've got this guy who's a bit more friendly looking, and then I recently made a second one who's a bit more menacing because of the sparkly red eyes. The eyebrows are a bit more frowny, but it is the same thing, just in a lighter purple. So to compare, these are the 2 purples that I used. This one's almost a pink, but it's definitely purple, it's just very lilac-y, whereas I'd say this is definitely a periwinkly, lavendery purple, but it's much richer than this purple. So we have 2 mind flayers, and again, due to tension, same pattern and everything, they turned out slightly different sizes, but so I'm going to have a £2 price difference for these guys. I haven't been telling you any of what I'm going to price any of this stuff at. And I'm not refilming this because this is a 20-minute long clip. So expect me to, editing me, will pop up on screen how much I'm charging for everything. I think I'm going to save the D&D specific ones, although I have just showed you the mind flayers. I'm going to show you the D&D specific ones at the end in a minute. And next I'm going to show you some goblins that I made. Also, if I haven't said the pattern for anything, it will be linked down below. This is the Madeline Mako baby goblin pattern. I know that much. Some of these I will have either forgotten to say or I can't remember the pattern off the top of my head. But I made a little goblin fella. He's got little bobbly warts, got a little snaggle tooth, and these big ears. Then I think I made this really bright green one with the darker brown wartiness. I made this, which is like a petrol. It's coming up very much more green on camera, but it is much more blue in person. And he's got a very big snaggle tooth. And they're just little goblin-y fellas. The final goblin that I have made, I am hoping to get another... Sorry, just picking fluffies off these again. I really need to lint roll all of these. So, also made this darker green one. So that is 4 little goblins. Posing for a potential thumbnail. Okay, thumbnail I think has been taken. So next I'm going to show you some of the cutest, patootiest little creatures I made. Wizard frogs. These are the silliest, cutest little things that I might have ever made. They've got little bobble legs. The cloak does come off, it is removable. The hat is not removable, the hat is sewn on. But I love these little guys. They are utterly adorable. And I think I've got 9 of these. So we've got this light purple and light green. This light purple and dark green. So for these, you are supposed to embroider these stars like this all over the cloak. I make extra of the stars from the hat and then sew them onto the cloak like that. That's the only modification I make. We've got these 2 with the light purple cloak. We've got 2 with janky hats and dark purple cloaks. And I think these look really nice. These all got the same colour stars. They do, don't they? Huh. I swear I used a darker yellow for some of the stars. Apparently not. We've got 1 in this periwinkle purple cloak. We've got 1 in this really vibrant blue cloak and hat, and we've got 1 in a slightly darker blue cloak and hat, and I love this one. And finally we've got 2 in navy blue cloaks. Oh, cute! Moving on to the D&D themed things now. This I have showed in the previous video and I am still not happy with it as I was not in the previous video. And that is this gelatinous cube. And I think it's pretty obvious why I'm not happy with it, if I'm being honest. You can 100% see the stitching and how messy the sword is. You can see the pipe cleaner that's inside the arrow sticking out. And you can see the stitching where I sewed it all together. This is not my best work and I'm honestly quite disappointed. I did want to make another one of these and I don't know if I'm going to have time. Today is Monday. The convention setup day is on this Friday, and then the convention is Saturday and Sunday. And I've still got quite a lot of prepping tasks to do that are not crochet related. I still need to package all of my merch. There's a bunch of stuff that I still need to do, which I might talk you through at the end. But therefore, and this took me about 4.5 hours. So honestly, I don't know if I'm going to get to make another one or if this is going to be it. But this one is going to be marked down as a perfectly imperfect item. So it's going to have a special tag on it that says like, this is not my best work or whatever, and has it for a sale price. And I think that sale price is probably going to be £22, maybe. Haven't fully decided yet, but yeah. So this is like my one fail of the video. I think everything else is really cute, but this is a fail. But this is a gelatinous cube, if I haven't already said that. Next up, I made 3 monster mimic books, which have interactive pages. I made this one in a chenille yarn, and it took so long. It took so long, and I don't think I can charge what it would need to be for something that's this small. It would need to be like £22-ish. So my solution was to make it in blanket yarn instead. So this is Banat blanket. It's got the same cat style eyes, just in a bigger size, and same interactive pages, but it is a chunk bigger. So I think I can sell this for maybe 20, maybe 22, and get my money's worth. So I made 2 monster mimic books in Banat, and then I realised that I honestly did not enjoy making them. I had wanted to make 5, but I stopped at those 3 because they were really hurting my wrists working, because this has worked flat, not in the round. Working flat with Banat really hurt my wrists, and I wasn't enjoying it, so I didn't make any more. And that's that. Then some of my favourite items, I'm going to show you the big dragons at the end. Hint hint, there are big dragons. But my favourite items might be owlbears. So we've got this one, which I have definitely showed in a previous video, which has colour shifting bluey purpley eyes and is uber cute with winged arms and claws, little embroidery details, cute little ears. I love him, and I loved him so much that I made a second one, which is a little bit smaller, and this one has beautiful shimmery green eyes, is a slightly off-white for the belly and stuff, and he looks a little bit more concerned, can't lie. So this guy, the eyebrows are much higher. This guy, he looks a bit worried, and he is a little bit smaller. So again, they will be different prices, but not by much, because it's the exact same amount of work. This one, for whatever reason, my tension, it came out smaller. But I love them so much. It might be one of the favourite things that I have made for this convention. I love them so much. The final 2 items that I have made for EM-con Nottingham are dragons. And by dragons, I don't mean the little no-so dragons. No. I mean big dragons. So first of all, I'll show you the biggest first. This sizable one, which is Coquette. So the wings are a giant bow. The horns have little bows on. The tail has a little bow on. And it's done in this variegated pink and variegated purple, which is the Banat Mystical yarns. These eyes are purple, hand painted by moi, and I love her. I love her so much. This is the Snugglebeans Baby Snuggle Dragon by Snugglebeans Crochet. That's what I meant to say. It's supposed to come out much smaller than this, but when you do it in Banat, it comes out this big. Fantastic Dragon, are you going to stay on my shoulder? No. Okay, worth a try. The second Fantastic Dragon that I have made is much smaller, but is much more detailed, and that is this sitting dragon. You can see its haunches, which are all made separately. It has gorgeous golden eyes that I hand painted. The frills and stuff are these beautiful blues and gold. The horns are all curly. The tail has got some very lovely frilly detail. And I did the paws so that one is up and one is down, so he's like fidgeting or something. I thought that was cute. And I think it was my partner pointed out that this dragon is the colours of the painting The Starry Night. And I'm like, oh my god, you're so right. And actually my market dad, picked out these colours. I wasn't sure what to make it in, and Dad suggested the colours for these, and they're bang on. They look incredible, and I'm so happy that he chose these colours, because yeah, this is my little starry night dragon that wasn't even supposed to be a starry night dragon, but it totally is. Do you want to see the state of my bed right now? So I just made a pile of everything that I made. It's a little bit messy, but we wouldn't have it any other way. And with that, I'm done. That's what I've made for my convention. I have, of course, made a lot of my regular items, like my cats, my chickens, my whatever else I regularly make for markets. I can't remember off the top of my head now, I'm very tired. But that is everything that is con specific that is going to be unique for this event. A few more details. The event is EM-con Nottingham. It is at the Motorpoint Arena in Nottingham on the 7th and 8th of June. You should be seeing this video as I'm filming this. You should be seeing it tomorrow if I get it edited in time. Then EM-con will be the weekend after you are seeing this video. If you are watching this video in the future, you may well have missed EM-con, but not to fret. I am hopefully going to be doing a market vlog or a con vlog and like breakdown sort of thing afterwards. So hopefully you'll be able to see how it went, even if you are not able to come visit me. If you do come visit me, I would be eternally grateful and eternally in awe. Of course, there is absolutely no pressure. It is a paid event, so you would have to pay to get in. I do not expect anyone to come see me, but if you do, there'll be a prize. If you come over to me and say that you watched my YouTube video and that you're here from my YouTube, I will definitely give you something. I don't know what yet, but I will definitely give you something. This video may have been short, it may have been long. I've been filming for exactly 40 minutes, but I know that there were some coughing fits and some second takes in that because, yeah, as I said, I'm still recovering from being ill. All of the patterns that I have shown you in this video will be linked down below, of course, without any modifications that I have made, because the patterns that I link will be the original patterns, and if there are any modifications that I have made, they are not in the pattern, they are modifications that I have made, you know? That basically brings us to the end of this video. Please do watch my previous video for sneak peeks of some of the unique merch items that I will also be bringing to EM-con. Hopefully I will see you in the next video, which should be a vlog, if I manage to vlog, of my first ever convention as a vendor. I am so excited. Thank you so much for watching. As always, all of my links will be linked down below. You can find my website, my Etsy shop, my social medias. If you made it this far into the video, please leave an owl emoji for the glorious little owl bears that I made. Maybe even leave an owl and a bear, if you felt like leaving 2 emojis, just to let me know that you have watched all the way to the end and that you saw the owl bears. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope to see you here in the next video. Goodbye, everybody!